I think most of you have heard about the Appalachian Mountains, a massive range stretching for thousands of miles, known for strange stories, old legends, and disappearances nobody can explain. But no matter what you've heard, nothing could have prepared me for what I saw there. It made every scary story sound like a bedtime tale for kids. I went there to film some footage for my channel. Night shots, fog, weird sounds, the stuff people love. But while I was searching around, I came across this weird post on an old abandoned forum. It mentioned a restricted place built during the Cold War to study non-natural creatures. Nobody was sure if it was real, but my curiosity ate me alive. That was my first mistake.
The place was actually hidden, like someone grabbed an eraser and scratched it right off the map. No GPS helped, no locals knew anything, no online info. The only person willing to come with me was my friend, because there was no way I was going alone. The only route we found was an old, half-collapsed train tunnel that smelled like mold and cold rot. Behind it was a building that looked like an abandoned storage unit with no door. On the wall, sprayed in bright red paint, were the words, "Cryptid Zoo, do not enter." So obviously, we entered. Inside felt like stepping into another world, a creepy mix of an abandoned amusement park, a research facility, and an underground bunker. The place was huge, dead silent, cold, like time had stopped the second we walked in. On the floor, I found this pamphlet drawn in crayon that said, "Come meet the legendary creatures." The pages were torn. The marks weren't human.
The first cage we saw was Bigfoot. But the truth? It was just a massive gorilla, its fur ripped out in patches, its body covered in surgical scars, its eyes locked on me without blinking once. It wasn't an animal, it was broken. The next cage, the Loch Ness Monster. Just a huge European snake with an empty, dead stare. The Kraken? A squid with glowing implants shoved into its flesh and stitched tentacles. The Mothman? Just a crane with metallic plates in its wings, making this horrible tapping sound that crawled under my skin. And the chupacabra? A thin wild dog, crying, not barking, sobbing. Every one of them looked at me like I was the one who did this to them. We went down to the second level, and that's when things turned from weird to wrong.
The bunyip was something swollen, floating in black water that you couldn't see through. The thunderbird was a giant bird stitched together with metal pieces replacing bone. But the one that made me step back was the Wendigo. It looked like an elk forced to stand upright like a human, its head removed and replaced with a deer skull wired to exposed nerves and muscles that were still fresh. And when it saw us, it charged. We ran as fast as we could, but the real horror was waiting on the third level. In a dark corner, we saw a skinwalker. But it wasn't a creature. It was a man. A pale, twitching man wearing scraps of animal hide, eyes wide open without blinking, mumbling something broken and inhuman, trapped in a padded room. Even his voice didn't sound human. My friend whispered, "Don't look at him."
But the scream that came out of that thing made us run without thinking. In another corner, we saw a human crawler. A thin, naked man, his private parts surgically removed and covered with patched skin. mouth frozen in a silent scream, banging his head repeatedly against the wall. Something behind us growled. The Wendigo was hunting us. We sprinted until we reached a door that said, "Restricted area, staff only." We threw ourselves inside and slammed the door shut. But the room we entered was the worst thing in that entire nightmare. In the center, behind frosted glass, something was standing. Tall, leathery skin, legs bent forward like a deer, arms hanging low like a broken puppet, face stretched tight with extra skin, no eyes, no features, completely still. Then it moved. Then it woke up. And the second it woke up, it started pounding on the glass, harder, harder, until it cracked. My friend kicked at the wall to find another way out, and the wall tore open like cardboard. Behind it was the mountain, the exact same spot we entered from. We spun around fast. The tunnel was still there, just an old entrance. And the building? It was gone. A hollow shell, like it was never real. But the thing behind the glass, it got out. It chased us through the fog until it melted back into the trees. The last time I saw it, it was standing on a hill. No eyes, but pointed right at me. We walked back without saying a single word. But when I got home and opened my bag, the torn zoo pamphlet was inside. How did it get there? Why was it in my bag? And when? Doesn't matter. What matters is whatever that place was, real or not, something came back out with us. And the worst part? I'm not sure what I saw was the end of the story. Maybe it was the beginning.